G'day guys, we finally have the index for World Eaters in our hands, so let's have a look at what these blood-soaked maniacs can do in 10th edition Warhammer 40k.
Look for the blood god.
Alrighty guys, let's have a look at Angron's new data sheet. Now this lad is an absolute beatstick. He's lost a lot of his strategic play and a lot of his options from the previous codex, but he's gained a lot as well. So let's have a look. First of all, he lost his ability to prevent enemy units from falling back. And he also lost the ability to turn off objective secured, which is essentially your objective control stat in the previous edition. And these two things were some of the things that made Angron very popular, was the fact that he stopped your opponent from being able to fall back, which allowed him to lock you in combat with him, and then he also stopped you from being able to control those objectives, which put your opponent in a really tricky spot, and it was a lot of fun to wield him. He's lost that. However, what he's gained, I think, more than makes up for it. Now, he's a non-titanic monster, which means he's able to hide behind ruined walls. You can't target him if you can't draw a clean line to any part of that model, which means he's much easier to keep alive. Further to that, he's now toughness 11, which means that things like infantry-mounted las cannons, melter guns, all of those sorts of weapons, even autocannons that used to be able to wound him with relative ease, now are going to really, really struggle to wound him. And he's still got that 4-up invulnerable save, he's still got a large number of wounds, he's still got that 2-up armor save, in an addition where armor penetration is much lower than it previously was. So all of these things combine to make him way, way tougher than he used to be. It's almost not even in the same ballpark. He is so much tougher than he used to be. Further to that, when you resurrect him now, which granted is very difficult to do compared to what it used to be, but when you do resurrect him, he comes back with the full wounds remaining, which means your opponent is going to have to put serious firepower, serious investment just to kill this guy. And then when he comes back, he's coming back at full health. And that's going to be so demoralizing for your opponent that I think a lot of people, when they put Angron on the table, a lot of people are just going to ignore him. A lot of people are going to go, I don't want to waste my valuable resources killing this guy, because there's a small chance that you're just going to bring him back and all of that's going to be wasted. So they're going to let him run around and just kill things, and they'll only really go for him if you put him in a position where they can kill him without really sacrificing their greater game plan. And that, I think, is going to make Angron a must-take in most World Eaters lists competitively, depending on how many points he is. We're obviously going to have balanced data slates, so his points are going to change up and down over time. But as long as he's competitively costed, I think he's going to be a very, very useful unit in a World Eaters army, just because of that ability to be resurrected and come back and be tough and do consistent, serious amounts of damage. And he also does provide some interesting buffs for your units. Being able to give +1 to charge is going to be really, really valuable. Being able to put reroll hits on units is going to really increase the damage output in an edition where damage output has generally been reduced. So I'm really excited for Angron. I think he's going to be an absolute maniac on the tabletop, as he should be. And I think he's also going to be a really hard thing to put down, which is something that I really think he should have been from the get-go. So it's good to see him reflecting that really tough, really scary, really powerful combatant on the tabletop, what you would expect from a Demon Primarch. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of the new Angron datasheet. Do you think he's all that, or do you think he's a bit of a miss? Do you think you're going to miss his old abilities and his old tricks? Or do you prefer the new raw power and raw durability that he brings to the World Eaters armies? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below.
Look for the blood god.
Yellowhammer community suffers from some of the most prohibitively expensive essentials in the world, especially Australian content creators. Every single day, Dean wants to create content, but he can't. Suffering from old, worn-out brushes, expensive model kits, and costly software and equipment he can't endure much longer. Just look at this dirty paint water. Would you drink this? Would you let your child? Even a small monthly donation can help provide Dean with clean paint water, basic tools for survival, and access to life-saving information and education. So please, follow the links in the description below and find out how you can sponsor Dean today and end the suffering. Suffering that is cruel